Russian grandmaster who has 3 out of 3 and plays his compatriot Evgeny Nair. Okay, this is board 2, Potkin Dreev. Another theoretical discussion in Slav anti-Miran. As I told you, yeah, both are playing this opening with white and black colors. It's interesting too. Well, I don't know what happened in their first game, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was anti-Miran either. Yes, this is some pet line of Aleksey Dreev. He plays without early bishop d6, first fianchettoing his another bishop to b7. Well, some young and theoretically very well equipped players are laughing sometimes about this treatment, calling it passive, but as far as I know, nobody managed to refute this setup. And well, actually Aleksey has great experience here.
Yeah, c5 is a good move here.
Yeah, c5 is a typical plan. c5 limits this bishop on b7. Normally black tries to avoid it because this bishop on b7. Okay, d5 square is d5 square, but it does not make it's not of great importance when your pieces are passive. Okay, Aleksey tries to solve the problem of his light square bishop, playing bishop a6 then, but I think that after rook a1, well, after rook a1, bishop a6,
c takes b6 is...
Queen takes b6, and there is a problem. White cannot take on a6 immediately. So
well, I would even think queen c takes b6 and or knight e5 directly, with the idea c b6 and knight c4 is also an option.
Right. So probably b takes c5 and then bishop a6. But still there are some weaknesses. Well, Vladimir Potkin had given some time handicap here, but
yeah, he thought a lot for such position.
Yes, his position seemed to be okay. BC, DC, and somehow bishop a6.
Bishop a6 looks good. With the idea also, by exchanging the light square bishop, he gains d5 square for his rook.
Yeah, and maybe another possibility is just preparing this bishop a6, because after, well, bishop a6 and after rook takes d8, he cannot take with the rook back, but maybe it's not a big problem. Okay, rook d5 is another possibility. Exchange, knight d5. Well, ready to play bishop a6, and then returning his bishop to the game.
Obviously, black doesn't have so big trouble. Okay, the problem of the b7 bishop has to be solved, but generally his position is solid.
Yeah, of course it's solid, and one can speak only about some slight advantage. Well, maybe the position required some very accurate treatment, and not exactly what Vladimir Potkin had shown. I think that bishop a6 is a move.
He played a3, I think.
Yes, a3 played by white. Okay, I'm not so sure why Aleksey Dreev doesn't like to play bishop a6 here. h6, normal useful move, and Vladimir Potkin played g3. No. e5 is interesting, but I'm not so sure that, well, knight marches to d6.
Knight c4 here looks strong.
Yes, knight c4, and queen c5 is met with knight takes e5. Yeah, so
knight b6 is coming, knight d6. I think white is getting a better position, certainly.
Yes, he brought his bishop to h3. So
okay, not much, because this knight on d6 is a strong guy.
Right. It's reasonable.
And be something like, oh, bishop f4, I would prefer bishop f3, but okay, it's understandable that he doesn't want to take so many risks. Okay, white is slightly better with the excellent knight on d6, but as we said, black is solid here.
Black is solid. Black does not have some painful weaknesses here. Knight on d5 is also quite a strong piece. Okay, well, I think that probably we can speak only about some very, very slight advantage here. Okay.
Well, rook, queen a4 is, could be a threat.
But then in the end of the variation, b2 will be always hanging.
Yeah, but also f7 could be attached. This is a problem as well.
h4 right now. They are not clearing their plans. Okay, so some positional maneuvering here.
Also,
but maybe
queen a4 could be a
a4.
threat.
Queen a4, yes, attacking.
Well, then queen f3 can come. I'm a little bit afraid of it, but okay. Black's understand that he should exchange the knight from d6. Maybe he wants knight b5 or stuff like that. To attack.
Oh, he just attacks c5 pawn.
Okay, he has to play b4 probably here.
But yes, and knight goes to d4.
Yeah. Knight d4, rook b2. What else? What?
Yes, he allowed rook knight d4, but then everything. Then this e5 pawn is hanging. After all,
Hanging, but knight f3 check can be all the time a problem. He decided to exchange.
Yeah, looks more or less drawish. I must admit. Okay, there are some
Okay, again,
slight weaknesses.
slight weaknesses, as you say. It's a bad move, but he has to play it.
Yes, yes.
Now he's about to be lost because he simply blundered.
But what did he blunder actually?
Well, position, I think, because after take
Rook endgame. Okay, rook endgames have always very strong drawish
he
tendencies.
can take rook c3 and then win a pawn. We see the famous 3-2-3 with a pawn for white,
Okay, but
which is draw, but very difficult to win. Huh?
even c5, even this is not so easy to get. Okay, rook b5. I think actually it's
No,
draw agreed.
he shouldn't go like this.
Yes.
Now it's draw.
No.
Now it's draw, of course.
I think that
Yeah.
this is white who has to be accurate and exchange response. Draw agreed.